So, welcome to Was the Jam sessions, and
Hi.
really happy to have you here. I'm Shomili. So,
Uh,
just get over with like the cliche
yeah,
introduction,
yeah,
like for our
yeah.
time viewers. So, just you can talk about
Yeah.
like what is fuzz culture all about.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having us on. And I'm very happy to be over here with you guys. And FuzzCulture is the name of my electronic moniker, where
Mhm.
I produce kind of like songs. It's basically the name of my act, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I play all the instruments, I sing. It's electronica pop kind of thing. So that's the thing. We've been around since 2012. Originally it was a two-piece, but now it's a one-piece. If you can imagine a two-piece becoming a one-piece,
Yeah.
right? And it's been going well, yeah. And so we recently just put out a single called Breeze. It did pretty
Yes.
well. We put
Yes.
out an EP called Stain Cities last year, which did really
Yep.
well. Went #1 to Apple Music, electronica charts, and years have been good. It's been going well. Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah.
That's amazing to hear. So we're gonna just jump into your recent release, right? You came
Okay.
out with a single, it's called Breeze. It's doing amazing. And like, my question to you is like, how did you find yourself like approaching this track? Like, were you just like, just messing around with all the instruments, or like, did you have something particular in mind when you were like,
If you believe it or not, the song was written on an acoustic guitar and
oh,
just
real?
vocals. So I written it on acoustic guitar, yeah. And then I thought the melody was kind of cool and was really simple. So I wanted to even to make a very so of course I changed it to almost like a dancey track at the end of it,
Mhm.
right? But that's how I always write. I write all my ideas down on guitar, on
Right.
acoustic and piano, and just record them, and then I go through them and see which ones I like, which still speak to me after a
Do
while,
you
and which
like
ones I would want to
translate it
produce.
onto the,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
and then I think about the production later because I don't want to think about the production while I'm writing the melody, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
if it's a pure dance song, if it's something purely for just making people move or something, then you do beats first and you go computer backwards, right? But if
Yeah.
it's something which has a bit of a vocal melody, it has voice, it has lyrics, so I come up with the melodic structure of the song first, and
Mhm.
then I think of how I want to execute it. Because since I'm alone and it's all production based and it's going to be like interpreted by me live at the end anyway, right? So I take a process of like completely deconstructing the song from
Mhm.
the starting. So I like to write the melody and the hooks in a very bare bones fashion with just acoustics and pianos, and then see where I want to go with it. I could actually release an acoustic piano record once, I think.
Definitely should. Like
If
if
nothing
that's
works,
like
yeah.
where you're starting out with your like stuff
I
that you
always start. That's the most raw
yeah,
version of it all. Yeah. Yeah,
that's
and I just got like the melody, la 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 la. It's like that. It's
yeah.
just voice notes. Yeah.
Like you mainly deal with like fuzz culture, like you said, it's an electronic pop sort of project.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of talk about the stuff that you grew up listening to, maybe. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's very strange. I grew up listening to, like, when I was in school, I grew up listening to a lot of metal. I was a purebred metalhead to start my musical journey with. So I was very heavily into like old school thrash metal and old school death metal. So like the old Megadeth, Testament, Exodus,
uh,
Overkill, Cannibal Corpse, Emperor from the black metal. So like the old stuff, like like 80s, 90s.
yep.
That's how I got into music. Like I was like a little outcast kid who loved those demonic album covers, and then I made a couple of deals with people in what do you call Planet M, and those cassette shops and tape shops used to be back
Yeah.
then. I'm quite old, so yeah, I come from an age when cassettes were still a thing,
Uh-huh.
right? So I used to like, I was a big metalhead when I was a kid, and I learned guitar playing metal, Then my first band was when I came to college, which was with the circus pretty well, I think, back in the
Yeah.
day. Circus, I don't know, and we played GIR, we played Weekender a few times,
Mhm.
and like the band members have gone on to do very cool things. And yeah, at that time I think I was into a lot of Nine Inch Nails, Radiohead, Tool type of stuff. Then right now I'm into like kind of more obscure, pure electronic type of stuff. So it's like, like right now I'm listening to a lot of Two Shell, some Mall Grab, like stuff like that.
Right.
So like pure left leaning, like hardcore electronica. That's like my scene right now. But like with the FuzzCulture main singles, I try to combine everything that I know into a type
Yeah.
of a khichdi. So I'm like a khichdi act, is what I try to think of myself as. Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
you say that you grew up listening to metal and stuff. So how did you like get into electronica? Like, was there some particular record that you listened to and you were like, damn, I like that sort of music and this is what I want to
Yeah,
do?
actually, it was the graduation was I think the old Nine Inch Nails, Ministry, and Skinny Puppy.
Right.
So like in college, like I got heavily into Nine Inch Nails and that late 80s like industrial scene, which was like Nine Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy,
Uh-huh.
then old Rob Zombie, White Zombie, Old Manson, like stuff like that they produced.
Industrial.
So when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is cool, man. Distorted guitars and that. So the distorted guitars just went out of the picture. And also that I've been doing commercial music since I was almost 20, like for a living, as like with my band. So
Yeah.
when you're doing commercial art, then you're constantly which you have to produce for people.
So, since like, since you are talking about your commercial stuff, right? Uh, would you say like, that kind of posits a barrier in your creativity, like as opposed to like when you're say making music for yourself, making music that you like?
Hmm. No, I think so, and I don't think so. What I like about doing commercial work a lot is that it constantly exposes you to types of music you would not have gotten to on your own, right?
Yeah.
And what I find with a lot of people who don't do commercial music is that they just like one type of genre, and I'm just not that type of a guy. Like
Yeah.
like how people always want to fit in. I
Exactly.
always like to like be out of any club, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's like it's always been my thing. Like if I'm with a bunch of metalheads and when I was a kid, I was a real piss off, right? So if I would sit with a bunch of metalheads, I want to play I'll just play a Britney record to piss them off. And I was a bunch of people who like Britney, I would go in and put a Slayer God Hates Us All record. So I just like troubling the people around me, and which is basically to like just kind of explore more than what I know. So what I like about it is that it definitely opens you up to more genres, and
Yeah.
especially when you're doing it at a professional level, then you have to kind of really hone in on the sound to be able to deliver to the clients and not fuck up. So like in that sense, it really helps you expand your musical mind sometimes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're not, because otherwise on your own sometimes I feel you just get lost in what you like, which is also a great thing because that leads to
Yeah.
mastery of a certain thing.
Mhm.
But this is I kind of see myself as more of a generalist musician. Like I know
Yeah.
quite a bit about all genres, but I'm not an expert at any. So that's
Right.
the way like I kind of see myself as, for sure.
Yeah.
And I like putting on music like that also. It's always a little different from what was the previous time. It might be different the next time. So
Yeah. So you're like
yeah, so
constantly
all
like experimenting with different kind of things all the time.
always, because I get really bored with the
Yeah.
same thing twice. So it's just like it's so and that's the thing with FuzzCulture. Like it's an outlet for me to be able to do that and confuse myself and the listeners, and if there are any listeners, and get some new fans and lose a lot of old ones, and then get some of them
Yeah.
back and lose them back, and then maybe then there's a hobby like this guy's all over the place, but that's okay. Like that's my personal expression. That it's a very
Constantly in
wide
a
thali.
state of metamorphosis, I would say. Like,
Yeah, constantly, never stopping. you
right.
know
Like,
yeah,
in your Instagram bio also, like, please excuse me, I stalked you.
yeah.
Yeah, in your
No, it's
Instagram
great, please do. uh,
in your
uh,
Instagram
uh,
bio, you refer to yourself as a Dadaist, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, would you say, like, obviously, I guess the ideas and the ideologies that kind of came up during that particular art movement
Yeah,
sort of era.
yeah. I'm so
Uh,
glad you know this. That's awesome, dude. Like awesome.
I
Very, very cool. That's very cool. About Dadaism. It's
Yeah,
one of my
actually,
favorite
like
art
I
movements of
come
all
from
time.
like an
Actually.
English background, so we kind of had to like
Okay. learn
learn
all
a
of
little
this.
bit about, yeah, all these movements and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it was right before surrealism. Yeah.
yeah. So would
Yeah.
you say that, that has influenced your own artistic ideas or like your own art?
A lot. Because I think I really, like I said, khichdi, bhelpuri, like
Yeah.
for me, music is that. It's just like I like, the thing is, like, especially right now, I think it's kind of sad because, like, if you look at playlists and the way people are programmed for festivals, it's like, we want the night to be successful. It's like, if you look back even 20, 30 years, it was about all artists were trying to be different from each other.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, if you look at it, everyone wants to be in the same genre. That how do you define me? And 10 of them want to be a part of a clique, which I find kind of boring because then it's like, like when someone says my personality is defined by Adidas sneakers, that doesn't make any sense. Because it's like you're defined by something which is not you. So,
Exactly.
like what I like about Dadaism is that like the fact that yeah, we're influenced, like yeah, I'm speaking in English or I'm speaking in Hindi or I'm speaking whatever language. I'm working on music, and these are all built on knowledges of the past, right? So I cannot escape what knowledge I have. But
Mm,
then as an artist, not as maybe like a McDonald's burger seller, but like as like if you're trying to do any type of art, you want to see where you can take it
mhm.
and not just take all of it and become a part of the next clique or trend, so
Yeah.
that's helped me survive also because like I've been doing this music scene for like 15 years, and so many trends have come in and out, but like for me it's like sustain me. It's been good for me. I do it full time, so it's been good to me. But like that willingness to grow is very much for me, and that willingness to just sometimes just slap things on, put a guitar riff on a dance beat, and
Yeah.
not be afraid of criticism, like because the main thing with artists, what really sucks is like when people go out and hate on you, then people take it very personally.
Definitely.
So for me, it's like I'm experimenting. Yeah, shit on it, no problem. But that's the way it is. So I have thick skin, and I don't mind putting it out there and getting reactions or no reactions, like as goes.
Right. So you
Yeah,
are like open to all kinds of opinions and uh
yeah. Because I can just make what I like, right? I can't help whether you like it or not. I would love it if you did, but if you don't, it's I did the best I could. Like it's now I can't base my actions based on just feedback. It has to
exactly.
be. Then it's not art. Then it's responsive. Then I'm a baker. I'm making cakes which you would like.
Right. Right.
But what do I want to eat?
It has
And
to
I
be from
like
your
there's a yeah. It's also like that thing, no? Like art is like expression versus communication.
uh-huh.
What do you see it as? Like for me, like fuzz culture is expression. It's
Right.
not. I want to communicate, but I want to express first, and then do it in the best possible production, mixing, trying to get my voice into as good of a shape as I can.
Yeah.
It may not be the best, but just getting everything right so I can communicate what I want to express to the best possible ability. It's just so that's the communication part. But where I see commercial work as communication first, I see this as expression first. So
Right.
and that for me is like boundless. So yeah, that's a long answer. Sorry. Yeah,
Right. So
yeah,
since you have said this, I would like to know your opinions on the fact, like, even today, like, a lot of people are like producing art, right? But
yeah,
they also have this kind of idea that uh they want to sell art, right?
yeah,
And people who want to make a living out of doing art, out of doing music. And
yeah,
there's always this question of whether it's getting out to people. Because at the end
yeah,
of the day, you need money to feed yourself. So, but,
yeah, yeah.
uh, art itself should be like a personal expression. So that dichotomy is created, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you have to say about that? Like, you are someone who has
I
been
feel like,
into
yeah,
creating.
think about it like having a baby, like if you have a baby, like
Yeah.
or a child, like maybe you don't have money. Like a lot of people who have kids aren't very old, right? And they have
Yeah.
kids. But you want to make sure it goes to the best school it can. He or she goes to the best school they can. He, she, them, they go to the best school they can. They go to the best college. So you work really hard in all your aspects of your life
Yeah.
to make sure that your child has the best chance of success. I mean, that's what your parents have done for you.
Yeah.
And like I think like for me, like art is like that, and every release is like that. So I of course I want to monetize it because I want to see it succeed. you
Yeah.
know. And of course, for it to be more successful, I might have to produce it a little better, or work a little harder,
Yeah.
or go a little harder on the social media aspect, or on to the touring aspect, or spending maybe more money than somebody else would on the video because I believe in it, right?
Yeah.
I would, because it's just giving that child the best legs it can have
Mm.
to run, because otherwise it will be stunted, right? So it's my responsibility to it as well,
Yeah.
that I've created it now. So if I just create it and just put out one post and let it go and be like, man, no one understands me,
Yeah.
it's like having a child and just leaving it on somebody else's door, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
the child grew up homeless, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
like, so I mean, it's obviously not a similar comparison, but like I kind of see it like that. Like, once you've done something, it's also your responsibility to me.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to present it to you in the best possible fashion I can.
Yeah.
So that's where the expression turns into communication.
Exactly.
So the expression is still, it's in my computer. Like, after that,
Yeah.
it's not mine. And I want it to not be mine. I want it to be out. And every time I try to improve on it. And we work with a great team to try and keep making it better. And hopefully it will keep getting better.
Yeah.
But I see it like that. You have to give it the best chance of success.
Yeah. So it's like nurturing what you've already created, pretty much like nurturing
Yeah.
a child,
Yeah, you
nurturing.
have to. Otherwise damn selfish, right? It's like कि बच्चा बड़ा cute था तो first 4 years we loved it, and the minute he had its own thoughts we hate it. No, but that's the point. Like, that's the thing with music also. When you first make the song, when you're producing it, like when you're on your 30th vocal take,
Yeah.
or you're on your 10th mix, and I do everything from mixing, mastering, producing, doing my vocal takes, everything. It's not fun at that point. At that time, you're just executing and you're kind of criticizing yourself. This is not good enough. This is not good enough, because you want to give that thing the best possible what do you call chance of living it can.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just you've done it for yourself, you've not done it for anybody else, which is also fine. But then then you shouldn't feel bad about what it gets you also. Like,
Right.
and whether it gets you something or not, I feel as an artist, like, just it's good to know that you articulated yourself as clearly as possible, is what I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you have been in this scene for a while now. You said you started out in 2012. So,
Yeah,
what
and with the circus was on
yeah,
7. I would say 7 in the scene. 12 with FuzzCulture, 7 with the circus, and
right?
2011 with my first commercial studio, which I built 11 years ago when I was like, what, 19, 20 years old. Yeah, so like, yeah, so I've been
A long
doing it
journey.
since like my entire life, at least half my life, yeah, professionally, yeah.
So, you have had a pretty long career in the music scene of the
Yeah,
independent
yeah,
music industry.
yeah.
What have been, some of the challenges some of the biggest challenges rather that you had to face, like in
Oh,
your,
the biggest challenge, like, which younger artists won't know, is how quickly you're dropped by everyone around you when you're not the flavor of the month. Because I have been in that. Like, with the circus, we were on Channel V Launchpad, we were the flavor of the month. Again, playing all the festivals, getting all the shows, getting booked all the time. With FuzzCulture, when we started off, got signed to Universal, like playing everywhere. And the minute that 2 or 3 year mark passes, and
yeah,
the minute there's a new interesting artist, it's like they abandon like everyone. Like, so the biggest thing is like trying to maintain a career, because there's a thing that you start off, mostly if you have a decent enough song and a decent enough live performance and
yeah,
you have a good record, people get excited because it's something new.
yeah,
But the biggest challenge is when people start being like, yeah, that guy does the same shit, so people discard you very fast. It's the realization of how disposable you actually are, which is kind of sad, but kind of the reality of it. And then you just kind of have to keep marching through because you want to do it.
yeah. Like I guess
Yeah.
that's the story for a lot of like bands, even like
And that's why everyone's given up.
big artists, like say for example Linkin Park, right? When they
Yeah.
started out, they had this very hardcore, aggressive sort of new metal influence sound,
Yeah.
and then they kind of, you know, uh, they started incorporating sort of electronic elements, and people were like pissed off, like what is happening and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a
Yeah.
problem for like
Yeah. Yeah.
like big names in
And in
the music
and in
industry.
India, it's even a double problem, because at least they could book those concerts. Like in India, the thing is that if you've ever been to shows,
Yeah,
the crowd is always young. Like the audience
exactly.
doesn't grow old with you.
Yeah,
Like for example, like as a artist who's in his 30s, I would expect a lot of people, like we used to have packed shows when we were in our 20s, right?
Yeah,
for that audience to sustain, but it doesn't. Like no matter what work you do, because in India it's just not the culture. So it's like the no matter how old you get, the audience stays the same age. Whereas when I played abroad, it's not the same. The audience is older with the music. Like they going out and going to shows and watching concerts is a part of their collective spirit,
yeah,
which is for a few people, but not for a lot of people here. Like think about even Bollywood, right? Like
yeah,
how many people have actually ever gone out and seen a Bollywood act live, especially
exactly.
our parents' generation, or even our friends who are in like their late 30s or 40s. It's just not a scene. It's like more of a exotic night out when you're young. So these are some of the challenges, but like India is like constantly changing, like it's changing a lot. So I'm just like this old Uncle Scrooge who's here to stay, I think, for a long time, because I don't know what else to do. Yeah.
So, how do you like kind of keep up with that? Like you say, like people lose interest pretty fast and they're ready to drop you at any moment. So how do you like
Yeah.
keep the interest going basically? And while also remaining, true to yourself and true to your art.
I think with this, it's very simple, man. Like, is that fight or flight response, right?
Right.
Either like you're gonna get affected. Like it's like when faced with danger, what do you do? Do you run or do you stand up and fight? It's based on
I,
your internal
yeah,
response,
yeah.
right? So my response is I'm like a feisty little guy. I like fighting, and I
Yeah.
like doing it, and I like just like if I didn't do this, I wouldn't like have much of a purpose in my life. If I just made money, which I could, I'm an architect. I've also graduated from New York University with a film composing degree, right? When I do all that stuff, but if I gave up my core essence,
Right.
then I lose my purpose. And for me, my purpose is more important, whether people think I'm in trend or not. So you try to work with the best people. Like even Arpan, he's a young guy. So he tells me
Yeah.
like, what do you want to do on Spotify? What do you want to do on social media? The rules change. You keep up with the rules of the game.
Uh-huh.
But you make sure that at least till the master is done, you're true to yourself. And I mean, if the rest of the dejection makes you not want to make music, then maybe you weren't born to make music. Like I think I was born to do this, because I've not learned anywhere. I have never taken production classes and I've taken guitar classes. I've never been to any school for this stuff. It's
So
just
completely self-taught.
self-taught from a very young age. Yeah, completely everything. So like uh, fortunately or unfortunately, this is what I was born to do, and I'm here to bug people for as long as I can. The only thing I want is more amplification, which will happen. We just need a bigger loudspeaker. That's it. Yeah.
That's actually a very like positive mindset and attitude to have towards all of this.
Yeah.
Because you're always
Yeah.
faced with some sort of struggle one way or the other, but you're
Yeah. Life is not easy, man. Life is pretty shitty. Like actually, if you think about it, like if you think about the nature of a universe, like it's easy to die. It's very tough to be 21 years old. Like whatever age you are, whatever age I am, I mean the
yeah,
ceiling could fall on my head. I could die in 1 minute. But like think about all the resources I consume to be my age or you consume. So
yeah,
keeping something alive is always much tougher than letting it die. So it depends on how much do you want to keep something alive. And that's completely upon our individual wills. No one can really tell us. And if you let the market dictate that, yeah, then you're going to be crushed by it.
exactly.
So you have to be like your own person and be like, yeah, I'm standing. Everyone can move around and things can come and go. Trends can come and trends can fade. It's okay.
Right.
That's the way I look at it, at least.
Uh, so
Yeah.
you are a multi-instrumentalist. You have played, you experiment with a lot of instruments, and you
Yeah.
also are a music producer. You're a mixing engineer. So
Yeah.
would you say like, doing all of this work kind of opens up like new musical possibilities for you? Or
Yeah, it really does. It really does. It really does. It's also because I don't like people in my space when I'm working. I'm really like when I'm out with people, I'm an extrovert, but in my space, I'm the biggest introvert there ever is. Like my studio, my space, I want no one there. So to the point where I even learned how to mix, master everything at a very young age. Because I was
right,
like, and people, you have to remember, like from where I came, like 2007, 2008, when we were putting out the first records, people really didn't know how to produce well. Like right now they do, but they didn't know how to do it in 2009. And like for me, like I've been doing it since then, and I couldn't get the sound I wanted. So reproducing it, listening to
right.
records, And what happens with that is you start actually, like, once your mind changes from that of just an artist, of a player and a singer or a songwriter, to like that of a producer. You like start noticing, oh man, like some of the things thought was really bad is actually amazing. They got the effect I'm getting with 50 instruments in like with 2. Or like, like, oh, there's such a world to be explored. And it opens up a different part of your brain, like their production, mixing, mastering, and also helps you disassociate from yourself. Because otherwise you can just be full of yourself, right? Like you can be like, yeah, main bahut sahi hu.
Yes.
So it helps you be critical of yourself as well. Like, okay,
Right.
man, your performance sucked, bro. Like, check out this song you tracked with that other artist you're recording, or check out this song you're selling for a film, and this artist came and she sang this, and someone played this, and they're masters, and what the hell are you doing? And I think just having an open mind helps a lot, and that's my main thing. I keep even as a mixing and mastering engineer, because I do a lot of mixing mastering from Bollywood to a lot of the hip hop scene, to a
Right.
lot of people in the electronica scene. So like just keeping an open mind and not closing it ever. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are almost at the end of the interview. So I'm
Cool,
gonna
cool.
ask you a fun question.
For
Uh,
sure. For
okay,
sure.
so you have like a minute to talk
Ah.
about your most memorable gig nightmare, a gig where everything went wrong, and your like favorite gig memory where everything was perfect. Go.
A favorite gig nightmare. Matlab, is it a real incident or something which
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell you a
yeah.
real incident.
Yeah.
I was playing at what was this thing, which happens at the park. There's this big festival which happens in Chennai at the park, and we were playing after Pratik
Right.
Kohad. This was
Right.
2015,
Yeah.
right? And I come on, and my sound card stops working, and the
Oh,
people have gone out and they're coming back, and there's like 500, 600 people coming. So my sound card doesn't work. My computer starts breaking down, and like nothing is working on stage. And without like computers, especially with a live set, and like
yeah.
you're not working the decks for that, right? You're playing guitar, and all of that's routed into your computer. So all of it stopped working, and so then I had to like quickly put it via Linox out. I went through guitar amp. Everything was wrong. In 5 minutes, we had to refigure
That
everything
sounds
and played
like
a
a
good show.
nightmare.
Yeah, but it was such a nightmare. Like with me, like my manager who was there at the time, I told him, just get me 2 beers. And while the audience was fitting in, I just chugged 2 beers quickly so I could get out of my nerves and played the set. So that was a nightmare which turned out pretty good. But like that's how a lot. So after that, I carry a lot of backups because I'm so scared of things going wrong. You
Right.
know. And great gig for me are any gig where there are people and they're having a good time. It's a great gig. It doesn't matter. I've had a great time at like the shittiest of festivals and the
Right.
shittiest of shows, to big stages, playing abroad.
Right.
Like like I think Hong Kong. Some of my favorite shows have been in Hong Kong. Like like
Yeah.
we had some crazy shows there with some great audiences. So yeah. So too many great gig memories, good gig memories, and I don't want to say any of them are better than the last, but I really like, now we're booking tours again, so just can't wait to get back on stage. That's all I care about, honestly.
All the best
Yeah.
for that. Like really,
Cheers.
really.
Yeah.
So, can we expect to see you here in Kolkata? Because Kolkata right now has like kind of a flourishing electronic scene. So,
Yeah.
can
As
we
soon as possible. It's all up to Arpan. This is like
Arpan,
this
take note.
is Arpan's problem. Yeah, this is Arpan. Like, if he manages it, like, like, and I want to come to Kolkata as soon as I love Calcutta.
You've
Like,
been here before,
yeah, of course. I played here right before the pandemic ended at
right?
Top Cat. Yeah,
Yep.
right before the
Yep.
pandemic ended. And since the pandemic, I haven't been there, but I absolutely love Kolkata. So I want to be back as soon as possible. And as
Right.
much as possible, to be honest. Like, if any of you guys want to adopt me there, like, no problem. Yeah.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Like,
Done.
yeah, like like I have not been to a gig of yours yet. Please excuse
Ah,
me for that, but I would totally like
no
to meet
problem.
you like
I'd love for
live.
you to be there. It'll be great. It'll
Yeah,
be great. It'll be great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just waiting for a FuzzCulture gig in Kolkata as soon as possible.
Cheers.
Arpan,
Cheers.
please take notes.
It's
Yes,
all
make this
Arpan's.
happen.
Yeah, it's all up to Arpan. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Working on it, bro. Working on it.
Oh, he's come in the middle also. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So, for the last question, I would just like to say? Like since you have come a long way since you started, right? So what?
Matlab, it's been many years. I don't know about how much of a distance has been covered, but it has been a long time. Yeah,
Has been a long
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So, what advice would you like to give to your past self, like the kid who was just say starting out, now that you're here?
I think I missed a lot of good opportunities when I was younger because I was a very angry person when I was young.
Yeah.
I would say be less angry and be a little more trusting of people around you. Not everyone's out to fuck you, Like, so I was a very untrusting, autonomous type of
Right.
fighty guy, So
Yeah.
to myself, that would be my personal advice to me, that you don't need to be so angry. And if you trust people a little bit, maybe
Uh-huh.
things will happen faster and quicker, and what you want will come anyway. Or it might not also, but just learn to not be that angry. Yeah, that's something I would say to my past self for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you have any message for your future self, like say Arsh from 5 years from now?
You have to make a fuck ton of money, bro. You have to make a lot of money and you have to play a lot of fucking shows. And you have to become fit. That's it. And if you're like fat and broke, I'm gonna kick your ass in the future. That's my message to my future self. Yeah.
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 Your future self is
Yeah.
listening to like, yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
like
he's scared. I'm scaring that guy. Like, if you're fat and broke in 5 years, like I'm gonna find a time machine and kick his ass, So
right.
yeah.
So that was the end of the interview. And
Cheers. Thank you so much for having me on
yeah,
board.
like I already mentioned, really glad to
Yeah.
have you. Was the jam,
Thank
and we are also doing a little review of your first, like your
thank
recent
you.
release.
Please.
So that's
Yeah.
gonna be put up soon enough. Just kind of been busy with certain things, so
No
everything
worries. Take your
just
time.
like put it up. That's
Even if
all.
you don't like it, just say it's amazing, Like just lie. It's okay.
I'll keep that in mind.
Like a government does it all the time. It's fine.
All right, Arsh, thank you so much for
Okay.
being here. Hope to catch
Thank
you.
you so much for inviting me. It was lovely speaking to you, and I hope to see you in real life soon, right?
Yeah,
Cheers.
for sure, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Take care. Lovely seeing you. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
yeah. Good night. Take
Thank
care.
you so much.
Yep.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Yep.